What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, Randy, with RTS Mobile Gaming. I'm bringing you another fantastic Foundation Galactic Frontier video today. In today's video, we're going to be doing a total soup to nuts build of the Gram. We'll be talking about what the best units to put on the Gram are, the best heroes, why I'm ordering heroes in that way, the best crew members to put on the Gram, and we'll be talking about theory crafting long range for when the next couple heroes become available. Get excited. If you like today's content, like and subscribe. Put a comment down below. I guess I should do thumbs up. Put a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. And let's rock and roll. Here we go. The first thing I want to point out are the Gram's abilities. Let's start by taking a look at the flagship menu here. And I want you to note that its primary ability, Relentless Strike, is an intellect-based ability that does healing and gives energy regeneration to her commanders, or to her champions that are on board. You want to use heroes that benefit from having intellect, okay? Heroes that have high intellect and give intellect bonuses to the ship will help you do more healing here from the actual Gram ability. Let's take a look at the next ability here, which is going to be movement speed from the Blitz Assault. This is going to give you 15% bonus movement speed. It is the only of the 3 flagships in the game today that have movement speed on them. I don't know why I'm just holding up the number 3 for you, but there you go. It's one of the only flagships in the game that have speed, and it's really, really nice for PvP because you've probably noticed some people like to do laps. They like to swim around the whole solar system over and over and just have you chase them. When you're using the Gram, you get this 15% bonus movement speed. This will pair with your ship's engine building to give you overall movement speed and allow you to hopefully keep on top of those enemies that you want to kill. The third ability I want to talk about here is Get the Jump. Get the Jump is really great. It is the only ability in the game that just gives you a static stat bonus. Both of the other flagships in the game right now, one of them gives you a stat bonus for a couple seconds after triggering an ability. One of them doesn't give you any stats at all, debuffs the enemy. So this is the only ship that gives you a fantastic amount of bonus stats, and it's really, really incredible. So keep that in mind. All of these stats are going to give all of your champions and your formation ships a lot higher damage and survivability. Now for a quick message from our video sponsor, Lootify. If you guys decide to get the Champion Pass this week, Aaliyah is an absolute monster of a beam hero. Okay, make sure you check Lootify's Discord link in my video description below and save yourself 15 to 20% on your in-game packs for this game. Thank you, Lootify, for sponsoring today's video. As far as what champions to put on the Gram, well, that's what we're getting to right now. I want to start by talking about synergy with your champions. You want to make sure that your champions match the same gear component synergy style type to give you this style resonance bonus. Getting an additional 20% attack, defense, and intellect is absolutely fantastic, and it is going to give these same bonuses down to your ships, your little ships that are attacking things as well, not just your heroes. So this is really, really important. You could potentially run 2 champions of Kinetic and 1 champion of somebody else. That is entirely possible. You might find some synergy somewhere else with a different hero, but I'm going to tell you why that is probably a bad idea in almost all cases. The fact that you get that massive stat bonus if I take one hero off, I want to point out all legendary heroes' middle abilities really quick, and then we'll talk about that stat reduction. Okay, let's start with Ava. Ava is who I have captaining my Gram flagship. She is Kinetic. She is going to, with her middle ability called Focus, give a massive amount of intellect to only Kinetic-type flagships in Combat Craft. So, this gets back to what I was saying before. If you have 3 Kinetics on board, not only do you get that 20% stat bonus for attack, intellect, and defense, but if they are all matching Kinetic heroes, then they're all going to give these stat bonuses to the Kinetic ships. If we decide to swap in Evan, which could happen, because Evan does the most damage in the game that I've seen so far. We'll wait to see what happens when Killer Bee gets released, but she's not released yet. Evan is only going to give attack to beam flagships in Combat Craft. So if I were to put Evan on my ship, I would be losing that 17% intellect from Ava. I would be losing another 10% intellect, attack, and defense from the ship bonuses. So all in all, we'd be down almost 30% intellect. I'd be down 10% attack and 10% defense. So really, you're hamstringing yourself quite substantially if you mix and match the types. I'm not saying that you will never do it, You know I love the theory craft, and I'll be trying every build out there to see what works, but just keep that in mind. You will be dealing with a substantial stat decrease if you mix and match hero types. Okay, back to talking about the actual champions on board the ship. Here you can see I have Ava in the front, then I have Zora, my damage dealer, in second place, and I have Cocoon in the rear. I see a lot of people using Cocoon as the champion, Zora still in the middle, and Ava at the end. This is the wrong order. You want to maximize your damage output early on in the fight. Dominating the enemies and destroying the universe is really how I like to live my life. So Ava is going to give a beautiful stacking debuff called Kinetic Overload. Kinetic Overload, every time Ava triggers an ultimate, will give your entire ship champions, all 3 of them, a 10% stacking bonus to kinetic damage output. It's really, really incredible because as you can stack it up, once you have her skill awakened, it can stack 17 times. At max stacks, that is going to give Zora's ultimate a 170% damage bonus, which will be absolutely disgusting. You probably watched my live stream over the weekend, or if you do not, go check it out. I was showcasing building up stacks and energy on different targets, trying to stay in combat to keep my kinetic overload stacks rolling, and then boom, swapping over to a whale, dropping them to half health with 1 ultimate. So it's really key that you manage your stacking kinetic overload buffs well, and that's why we have Ava in the front. Alright folks, for heroic crew that you can actually put onto your flagship, once you hit level 20 energy core, you unlock this crew summoning module and this nexus module. You start by being able to equip 1 crew member to your ship. As you upgrade your nexus, you can equip additional heroes. So we'll just talk about which heroes are beneficial and why. Let's start with the purples. And I want to keep, first I want to point out you can only have 1 hero equipped, 1 crew hero equipped of each type. So I can have Farah, who is a warrior, and Dusem, who is also a warrior. You can only pick one of them, so it's most beneficial to pick the one that gives you the best bonuses and just run with that. I do highly suggest that you use the warrior as one of your first 2 heroes. As your second hero on your crew, I highly suggest you use a sage as one of your first 2 heroes because you want to get that bonus intellect for this flagship. Having the Sage hero, as you can see, Laura's here at 2 stars, gives me 9% intellect and an 8% counterattack bonus. If I get her to 3 stars, this increases to 12% intellect and 12% counterattack bonus. So again, I highly suggest that you use 1 warrior and 1 sage as your first 2 crew members when you hit Nexus level 3, which is pretty easy to get. You'll probably get that very quickly. It gets very difficult to upgrade your Nexus after level 3. It really starts to add up on how much everything costs, but you can for sure equip 2 heroes, no problem. I'm not going to bother talking about the legendary heroes right now because it's really RNG based. It's very hard to get legendary heroes. I'll be doing a totally separate video covering crew and legendary crew, maybe even 2 or 3 videos on this whole series because there is a lot to talk about with these heroes. But for now, I just want to make sure that you understand, for your first 2 heroes, you most likely want to use a warrior and a sage so you can get that attack and that normal attack damage, as well as the intellect and counter-strike damage. Alright folks, and that's about it. If you like today's content, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you again to Ludify for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys. Long time, Randy.